it is the general agreement of experts in the US as abroad that there is no international law justification for what the Trump administration has done in Venezuela. Because the UN Charter is really quite straightforward. The use of force is prohibited under the UN Charter. Now, you might think, how can that be? Sometimes nations must use force to defend themselves. And of course, that's exactly correct. But there's certain procedural requirements. But that's the basic structure of how the UN Charter framework works. A prohibition on using force combined with an exception from the prohibition, but only if you suffer an armed attack and are responding to it. I don't see any serious argument that there has been any kind of action by Venezuela or even by non-state parties affiliated with Venezuela that would come close to constituting an armed attack. In my view, the way the international community right now is responding to what Trump has done is walking an uneasy balance between trying to assert the meaning and force of international law on one hand, and on the other hand, just as a realistic, practical matter, not picking a fight with the US beyond what is needed. It's important that other countries state that they think the US is violating the law. And that's important because if they don't, actions like the US is taking can become part of international law and can become a precedent for other countries or the US again to do the same thing again.
Jelajahi cara baru mendapatkan informasi. Download Metro TV Extend sekarang.